Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's DAF, KIDDUSHIN Nun Aleph. We got up to Nun Amid Beis, the second line off the bottom of the Amid Gufa. Let's go back and review the halacha that we learned yesterday. So the Mishnah told us that if one is Mekadesh, an Isha and her daughter, or an Isha and her sister, it doesn't work. None of them are Mekudesh to him. One may not marry his wife's sister or his wife's daughter. So even if initially he does one Ma'asa Kiddushin, he does them both at the same time, Isha and Bita or Isha and Achaysa, it doesn't work. And the reason given, this was Rava and the name of Rabba. You know why? There's a rule called Kol She'enoi Bazeh Echar Zeh, when you cannot do things one after the other. Once you're Mekadesh Rachel, you cannot do Kiddushin on Leah, it doesn't work. Afilu bevas achas einoi. So even if you do them both at the same time, you do one simultaneous Kiddushin on Rachel and Leah, it doesn't work because they're inherently in conflict. They're mutually exclusive. So just like you can't do them one followed by the other, once you have Rachel, you can't have Leah. So even if you choose to do them both at the same time, try to chaperayim together, doesn't work. And Rashi says it's a simple svara, plain logic, right? Svara ba'almo. So we're going to go back and analyze this halacha. Gufa, says the Gemara, Amar Kol she'enoi bazeh echar zeh, right? Afilu b'masaras einoi. Eis ve'abaye, Abaye has a kasha. Marbe b'maser. He separates a little bit extra maaser. Maaser is meant to be a tenth. That's why it's called maaser, may eser, right? Instead he does, say, 20%. What happens? Peirois of misukanim, so his fruit are okay. His crop is good. He took more maaser than he has to. So the actual crop is no longer a tevel, but the maaser is problematic. Umasreis of mikul kolim, but he has a problem with the maaser because part of what he took is really maaser and part is not. You see, in contrast to Truma, which doesn't really have a set amount, you could expand, you could enhance it, could increase. Maaser is a very set, specific amount, 10%. You do 20%, you have a mixture. Part of it is really maaser, part of it is not. It's just plain tevel, unattended tevel. And Rashi says you have to go and take maaser on that, extra maaser that you took, and this way you address it as well. So bottom line, the maaser, wherever it is, it works, but there's just too much there, so you have a mix. How does it work? Nema, let's apply this formula. If you can't do it sequentially, you can't do it at once. You can't take off 10% for maaser and then choose to go back and take another 10%. Too late. It's done. So how can you do 20% in one shot? Nema, we should say, when you can't do things sequentially, you can't do it all at once. So Rabba responds, Shani Maser is different. Theoretically, you can take 20% of your, let's say, your grain, right? So you have 20% of the entire amount. So all these kernels can be made half Maser. Basically, every kernel 50% Maser. You take 20% and only make half of it Maser. Half of every kernel. You can do that. So theoretically, within this entire amount of 20%, Maser can be applied to every single kernel 50%. So all of this potentially relates to Maser, and therefore you can make such a hafrashas Maser. And you end up with, half of it being Maser, half not. But every item, every kernel relates to the Maser. So that's why it works. Imagine he would have declared, he would have stipulated, half of every kernel works, half of every kernel becomes Maser, Kacha would become Kaddish. Therefore says Rabbi, it's very different than, be Mekadesh Rachel and Leah. You can't do half of Rachel, half of Leah. It's just not relevant. So since you can't do Rachel and then Leah, likewise you can't do them at the same time. Next question. Vari Maser Behema. Right? Meant to take off one of every 10 animals and bring it as a korban. So you count them. 1, 2, 3. Number 10 is Maser Behema. The Lekel Chatzoin. You can't do a half Kedusha on 2 animals. Right? It's either all or nothing, right? It's not like the kernel, which can be halfway Maser. You can't do that here. The full animal becomes Kaddish or nothing, right? And likewise, you can't do them bezeh. Once you counted this as number 10, you can't turn around and say, oh, no, that's number 10. There's no Kedusha on number 11 once you declared number 10 as Kaddish. And still we find, in some cases, you can apply the Kedusha to 2 animals when it happens at the same time. And that's in conflict with Rabba's formula. V'amar Rava or Rabba Ya'atzur Shnayim Ba'asiri. Suppose he's holding at number 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. Comes number 10. Boom. 2 at once jump out. Ya'atzur Shnayim Ba'asiri V'karan Asiri. And he declare them both as number 10. Kedusha is applied to both to a certain extent. They're both in. Asir v'chadasar. Muravim zebazeh. So you have 2 animals, one of which is really the master, one is really the 11th, which has some Kedusha Shlamim, as Rashi explains. So amongst this sort of group, you have one Maser and one which has Kedusha, but not to the extent of Maser, and you have to sort of figure it out, and Rashi explains how to do it. You have to treat them both as Safek Maser, and right? So we see that since it happened at once, the Kedusha is applied to both of them. That's inconsistent with the formula that we're working with. That when you can't do them Bazeh Chazer, you can't do them simultaneously either. Here you could. Answers the Gemara Shani Maser Behema D'Isei Betos. Once again, Maser Behema runs its own course and it has its own set of rules. There's a concept of tos. You can actually extend and expand Maser Behema past the 10th. There's such a thing. It's none. Mishnah says like this: Kara L'Chi Asiri. So he's counting the animals as they come out of the pen. 1, 2, 3, 8. And at number 9, he jumped a number. He thought it was number 10, and he says, oh, number 10. Kara L'Chi. Instead of calling it 9, he called it Asiri, number 10. Comes number 10. He says, oh no, you're the 9th. Asiri, he calls him the Shi. Comes number 11. Finally, he says, oh, you're the Asiri. Shloshta Mekudushin. There's an element of Kedusha that applies to all 3. And this is learned from a pasuk. So apparently Maser Behema works differently. It can be expanded. It can be extended past the actual Maser Behema. And that's why you can't ask a kasha from the fact that you can have 2 that are Kaddish. It's a whole different system. It allows for more than 1. Next question. Harei Toida. What about a korban Toida which comes along with 40 breads? The lesser betos. There's no concept of toes there. If he mistakenly was Magdish this bread instead of that bread, it's not Kaddish. Hegdish betos, according to Beis Hillel at least, and Maseches Nazir Rashi brings, is not Hegdish. So toes is inapplicable as opposed to Maser Behema, where toes is relevant. Here it's not relevant. Number 1. And number 2, you can't be Magdish 40 breads and then add another 40. You can't do that. But it can work simultaneously. V'itma, we have a halacha regarding a toida shenishchata l'shmoinim chalais. Imagine he brings a korban with 80 breads instead of 40. Chizkiya Amar kachila boim tech shmoinim. 40 out of the 80 are kaddish. And Rashi says you got to look at the Gemara Menachos to see exactly what to do with how do we eat the breads. But in any case, he fulfilled his obligation. He has his 40 somewhere amongst the 80, despite the fact that he added an extra 40. And this is from Chizkiya, who is from a prior generation, so it's fitting to ask a kasha from Chizkiya on Rabbah, who tells us you cannot do B'zeh Charzeh when it's something you cannot, B'vas Achatz, when it's something you can't do B'zeh Charzeh. Here's an example of something you cannot do B'zeh Charzeh. You can't bring 40 and then decide to bring another 40, but if you bring 80 at one shot, it works. According to Chizkiya, and Rabbi Yehuda Amar Loi Kachi La'arboim Tech Shmonim, you don't apply Kedusha to 40 out of the 80 because you're at the wrong number. You have 80 instead of 40. So it's a kasha on Rabbah from Chizkiah, who says that it works. The answer is Lav Itmar La. But this is the pshat that we learned on that discussion. It's not your typical bringing an extra 40 situation. Amar B'Shomah Levi, Hakol Moedim. Everybody would agree. Even Chizkiah. Even Rabbi Yehuda, I mean, that suppose initially when he brought the 80, he would say, look, I'm really only being Mekadesh 40 out of the 80. It's just that I want to bring some, backup chalais just in case the 40 become disqualified, become tamei or puzzle. When he clearly intends on only being Mekadesh 40, in this case, of course, Kachi, the 40 become Kaddish. Because it's the precise amount. What if he says, Lo yikachu arbaim elohim kein kachi shmoinim? I insist on no kedusha being applied to 40 unless all 80 become kaddish. Like kachi, all agree. Even Chizkiah agrees that you can't have kedusha on 80. It's the wrong number. Lo yinechel, because machlekes only applies to a certain specific case. Elabistam. He brought 80, but he didn't specify why. So the question is just how to interpret his intentions. Is he really trying to bring an enhanced carbon? 80 instead of 40? Or perhaps he's bringing your standard 40 with just some extra for backup. In which case it's legal, it works. Elabistam. Marasav al-achrayis kamachaven. That's Chizkiah. He's just trying to ensure a successful carbon. Achrayis. He really only wants 40 out of the 80 to become Kaddish. The extra is just serving as a backup. So that works. So Marasav al-carbon gadol kamachaven. Whereas Rabbi Yehuda looks at the whole thing as one expanded carbon. He's trying to go above and beyond, bring an 80 bread carbon, doesn't work. Bottom line, we answered the kasha. What was the kasha? Well, you can't do something b'zeh, you cannot do it with asachas either. So, you can't bring 40 and then another 40. It's over. Once you have the first 40. So how can Chizkiah say that this fellow who brings 80 at once has kedusha? The answer is because he brought it without specifying why. Why in the world is bringing 80? And we interpret it to be just for achrayis. The true carbon is really only 40 out of the 80. The other 40 is just serving as a backup, just in case something happens with the first 40. So truly, there's only kedusha on 40. That's perfect. Now comes a kasha on Rava. You may recall that yesterday we had a shaila on the Mishnah. How do we know? How do we know that if one approaches Rachel and Leah, two sisters, and mekadosh them at once, it doesn't work? So Rabbi Bar Chama had this shaila, and he answers, well, it's a pasuk. Rava disagrees. He says, the pasuk is not speaking about that type of case. Rather, the reason is based on Rabbah, right? Just like you can't be mekadosh Rachel and then followed by be mekadosh Leah, you can't do them together. They don't work hand in hand. For Rava, I have a question. Why did Rava have to come with Rabbah's formula to explain the Mishnah? We have a more simple way to explain the Mishnah, according to Rava's shita. Typically, say simply like this: Kiddushin she'ein mesurin l'bia ninu. Suppose he's mekadosh Rachel and Leah at once. He can never proceed to the next phase. He can't go marry her and have the physical closeness. It's impossible because achos ishta is aser, right? And Rashi points out that even if he really only wanted to be mekadosh one out of the two, and we don't know which one it is, it wouldn't work because inevitably you can't proceed to marriage because each one is a suffix. Maybe you're the wife and she's the sister. Maybe she's the wife. So certainly when he's mekadosh both together, of course you can't proceed to marriage. You can't be involved with your wife's sister. It's a kiddushin she'ein mesurin l'bia, which is a precondition to kiddushin. It has to have potential to lead to the next step, as we're going to see in a minute in the Gemara, and that's Rabbi's shita. So that's a very simple pshat in the Mishnah. Why did he need to resort to Rabba's formula with bezechazeh, bevasachas? You're right. Rava on his own could have offered that as a pshat, but he was just addressing Rabbi Bar Chama, who apparently was not concerned with Kiddushin she'ein mesurin l'bia. The fact is, he went to find a pasuk as a source for the Mishnah. L'dvar of the Rabbi Bar Chama Kama. He was just relating to Rabbi Bar Chama's wavelength. You are not concerned with Kiddushin leading to bia. So the fact that you're citing a pasuk as a source for the Mishnah indicates you're not concerned with the fact that it's not Roy for Bia. You have to find another pasuk. And on that he disagrees. The pasuk is not for that. Rather, I'll give you the other reason, which is Rabbah. You can't do something vasachas when it's not relevant. Itmar. Okay, let's move on to this concept of Kiddushin she'ein mesurin l'bia. So he approaches, let's say, Rachel and Leah, two sisters. He says, you know what? One of you are mekudesh to me, and we have no idea which one. One of the two. So both are required to have a get, right? Each one has a suffix. Perhaps she's the one. But the thing is that ultimately it could never lead to marriage. It's Kiddushin that are not Masur and Labiyah. So perhaps there is something inherently wrong with that Kiddushin, which cannot lead to the next phase. That's the Shaila. We have Machlokes. Does that Kiddushin have validity or not? Abaye Amar, yep, have a Kiddushin. Rava Amar, lo have a Kiddushin. Amar Rava, so Rava says, Bar Ahina, this was a Chacham, who taught me, Asberli, he pointed out a pasuk which can serve as a source to this halacha. Kikach isha, ubala. So Torah speaks about a fellow being Mekadosh and Isha, and they move on to Ubala. They're together physically as married. We learn from here, phase 1 must have the ability and potential to lead to phase 2. Kiddushin ha-mesur and labiyah have a Kiddushin, but if it's Kiddushin she'ein mesur and labiyah, which cannot lead to phase 2, lo have a Kiddushin, forget about it. There's no Kiddushin to begin with. Question is, our Mishnah, Tanan, ha-makadosh isha obita, o isha v'achoysa ka'achas, einam mekadoshos. Okay? Simple halacha. He's mekadosh isha and daughter, or isha and sister as one. It doesn't work, as we explained. Let's make a diuk. Ha'achas me'isha obita. Suppose he does not intend to be mekadosh together. One of you, without specifying. I'm taking one of you. Or one of you, in terms of the sisters. Mekudeshes. So one of the two are mekudesh, and since we're not sure which one it is, they both need a get. And there's a kasha on Rava. Amai, Kiddushin she'ein mesur and labiyah. Ultimately, it can never lead to phase 2, since you're not sure which is the one that's mutter, which is one that's asr. So it's Kiddushin she'ein mesur and labiyah ninda. So why is there any concern of Kiddushin at all? It's a non-starter according to Rava. To Yuf to the Rava. It seems to be a kasha on Rava. Amlach Rava, no. Let's move on to the next part of the Mishnah. According to you, Amos Sefer, let's proceed to the next part of the Mishnah, which presents a story, right? We have 5 Noshim. 2 sisters amongst them. This fellow fills up a basket of figs off their tree, but lucky for him it was Shvius, in which case it's Hefker, and he could acquire those figs and use it for Kiddushin to them. And he tells them all, take this basket on behalf of the entire group. All of you are wives to me, Mekudesh to me. Chacham responded by saying, everybody except for the sisters. The sisters are not Mekudesh. So the sisters are out. As we explained, you can't be Mekadesh 2 sisters as one. But the other 3 are Mekudesh to him. Why not? Okay, end of quote. That was the story. Hey Chidami, what exactly happened here? How did he express his Kiddushin? Did he present it as one big package? All of you are Mekudesh to me. You know what it's like? It's like a person takes an item and says, I want you and the donkey to acquire it. And since a donkey cannot acquire, the whole process doesn't work. Because one is dependent on the other. It's one kinyan, you on the donkey. The donkey can't be kinyan, you can't either. So basically we're comparing it to our case, where the Kiddushin applied to the 2 sisters at once doesn't work, as we explained before. And since it was one procedure, all 5 of you as one, part of it doesn't work, the other part doesn't work. So how could the Mishnah say the 3 non-sisters are Mekudesh? Elalav de amalu achas mikem. Oh, it wasn't a bundle, it wasn't a package deal. He handed the basket by saying, look, one of you are Mekudesh to me. So he did not make the Kiddushin of one Isha contingent on the sisters. One of you Mekudesh to me. Uketani ein achayos mikudashes. And Mishnah says, look, we're not sure about the other ones, which one they are, but the sisters are certainly not part of the equation. Right? So what's the kasha? The Rava. So this is a right to Rava. Why is it a right to Rava? Because the reason why the sisters are out, despite the fact that he didn't ask for both, he's seeking one Isha out of the entire group. So why can't? We're not sure which one. Okay, so they're all sort of included in the suffix, and they all require a get. So why shouldn't the sisters be included in this procedure? He didn't ask for both. He asked for one. One is legal. You can't marry two sisters. You can't marry one. Oh, says Rava, this proves my point. Since even if he's trying to be Mekadesh one sister, but ultimately he can never proceed to marriage with her, because he doesn't know which of the sisters is really the wife and which one is the sister of the wife, which is Asr to him. It's inherently Asr to him, both of them. So that's called Kiddushin She'ein Mesurun Labiyah. Concerning the other women, he's free to proceed. Take any one of them and proceed to marriage. But not by the sisters, because she might be the sister of my real wife, the other one might be the sister of my real wife, this one. That's a right to Rava. So basically, we had a kasha on Rava from the Reisha, but then Rava comes back and supports himself from the Seifa, which is now going to be a kasha on Abaye, who says that even if it cannot lead to phase 2, it is Mikudeshes. And here we see otherwise. Right? So in summary, Rava kasha Reisha, Abaye kasha Seifa. There's a kasha on Rava from the first part of the Mishnah. Again, what was the kasha? It says only if you're Mekadesh two sisters simultaneously, it doesn't work, because they're inherently conflicting. But if you decide to say one of you are Mekudesh to me, then one of them is Mekudesh, even though technically you can never actually proceed to marry her, because she might be the sister of the wife, the other one might be, we don't know which one it is. That's a kasha on Rava. And La Abaye kasha Seifa. And we just had a raya from the Seifa to Rava. It's a kasha on Abaye, because it would indicate that you cannot do this thing when it's not leading to marriage. Okay, so one part is inconsistent with Rava, one part with Abaye. Answers the Gemara like this: Abaye mataris l'tamei, Rava mataris l'tamei. Both Abaye and Rava will try to explain the Mishnah in line with their opinion. How? Abaye mataris l'tamei. Abaye will explain the entire Mishnah, even the second part of the Mishnah, and make it consistent with his approach. Mishnah begins, Amekadesh Isha Obita, or Isha V'achayisa Ka'achas, Einon Mekadashis. To be Mekadesh two sisters at once doesn't work, okay? Let's make a diuk. Let's infer from here that if he's only trying to take one of the two, Ha'achas Misha Obita, or Ayachas Misha V'achayisa, Mekadashis. Despite the fact that technically it can never lead to marriage, because he has no clue which one is it. In which case, she might be the sister of my real wife, etc. Sorry. So here it is Mekudeshes, right? Again, it's Abaye. Ha'achas misha bita, ha'achas misha v'achos Mekudeshes. So instead of taking them as one package, he says, no, one of you two sisters. We don't know which one, doesn't matter. One of them is Mekudesh, so we don't know which one, so they both need a get. That's a raya to Abaye. Even though it cannot lead to Bia, it's still a Kiddushin. And the Mishnah continues. And it's as though the Mishnah is missing this next line. But if he switched his intention, switched his program, he said like this: he clearly indicated that I only want to be Mekadesh somebody who's potentially suitable for phase 2 for Bia. Oh, so now, Eina Mekudeshes. Even if he was only Mekadesh one of the two sisters, Kiddushin is not applied because it's inherently deficient. Masanami, and that's where the second part of the Mishnah comes in to support this halacha. Again, because he clearly stipulated that he wants only something which is roy l'bios. We have the story, Masanami, b'chamesh nashim, right? U'b'hen shtei achayos, 5 women. Amongst them we have the 2 sisters. V'likat echad meheh echad kalkol shel te'enim. He picked the figs. V'amar, and he says again, haruya li mikem tiskadesh li. I mean, mekadesh, those amongst you who are suitable for me. Not 2 sisters. That's what the Chacham responded by saying 3 out of 5 are included, but not the other ones. Ein achayos mikudashos. Okay, so now according to Abaye, the whole mission is good. Technically, even a kiddushin, which is not ro'i l'biyah, is a kiddushin, unless he specified otherwise, as per the story in the Seif. Rava mutaras l'tamei. Now Rava will turn around and explain the Mishnah according to his sheet. We begin with Hamekadish Achas Misha Obita. So we thought the Mishnah was speaking that he was Mekadesh both together. No. Let's reinterpret the halacha. He actually approached the Isha and Bita, or Oy Achas Misha Achoisa, approached the Isha and her sister, and he clearly says, I don't want both. I want only one of you 2. Does it work? No. Because it's not Roy Labiyah. Since it's inherently an uncertainty. We don't know which one is the Isha, which one is the Yisr. We treat it as though, that's what Mishnah is pointing out, it's as though he was Mekadesh both together, which certainly can't work. And one will in fact prove this halacha. Which halacha? That kiddushin, which cannot lead to bia, is worthless. Right? Look at echad mehem kakol shaltein. Va'amar harikuchem va'achas mishtei achayos mekudashas li. All of you plus one of the 2 sisters are mine. I'm a kuddush to me. Even though you only asked for one of the 2 sisters, it doesn't work. It's not roy l'biyah. Okay, so we thought we had a kasha from the Mishnah. Abaye had his approach, Rava had his approach, and we're good. Tashma, here comes another kasha. Makadesh is b'tei stam. So his fellow has some daughters, and he approaches this man. He's Makadesh. He's serving as a shliach for his daughter, and he's going to accept kiddushin for his daughter. Stam, without specifying which one it is that he's being Makadesh. So he has younger daughters that are underage. He has adult daughters, baigros. The adults are not included in the suffix. They're certainly not Mekudesh. Haktanis b'chlal. So apparently the younger ones, the younger sisters, are now going to be suffix Mekudashis. Question is why? They're sisters, right? Haktanis are 2 sisters. So this process is inherently deficient. This chassan could not get involved with any of these sisters, because maybe you're my wife and you're the sister of my wife. Maybe the other way around. V'amai kiddushin shein mesur l'biyaninu. But you have to the Rava. It's a kasha Rava, because the Mishnah indicates that kiddushin is activated, despite the fact that it cannot lead to biyah. Rava says like this: we're not speaking that there are several daughters. He has one older one, which is not included as we explained, and he has one younger one. No 2 sisters, one younger one, who's going to be Mekudeshes. But the Mishnah indicates that there are many. It says Baigros, plural. No, it's just like a reference to any, such type of situation that might arise. My Baigros means Baigros Da'alma. Whenever you encounter a situation where a person has an older one and a younger one, that's what we call it plural. It's plural, but it's just really individual. It's a singular plural, so to speak, right? This fellow only has one younger one and one older one. That's the story. That's the case, and it's simple and obvious. Why does the Mishnah even discuss this case? Skinner was speaking to Shavisi Shliach. What happened was like this. Initially we thought that the reason why the Kiddushin is only applied to the Ketana and not the Gdoila is because a father is empowered, right? He's authorized to be Mekadesh his Ketana, but not the Beigera. She's sort of out of his jurisdiction. So of course she's not included in the Kiddushin. So if that's the case, then it's a pretty simple halacha. Why even discuss it? What happened was that the Beigera did ask her father, find me somebody, be Mekadesh me. She made him a shliach. So now he's authorized to be Mekadosh is Ketana or G'dayla. And still the Mishnah says, when he's Mekadosh, Stam, without specifying, we assume it's the Ketana. And the Chiddush is Ma'od Atema, perhaps I would think, Kim Mekabel, Kiddushi, Adat Didoka Mekabel. That since she made him a Shliach, the older one, maybe when he accepted the Kiddushin, it was for her. Kamashman, the Chiddush is no. Why? The Loishavik Inish. Midi, the Isle Hanomine. A person would not forego doing something which provides him with benefit. You see, when he's Mekadosh his Ketana, he keeps the money. Right? He has a schus to keep the Kiddushin of his Ketana, not so by the Gedolah. So that's the Chiddush. A person would not forego that opportunity. And there's a Gersa here, Va'avid Midi, the Loi Isle Hanomine, and prefer being Mekadosh's older daughter, which doesn't really provide him much financial gain. He doesn't keep the money. So that's the Chiddush here. It's the younger one because it's all gain for him. Asks the Gemara, who says we're not speaking the Amalei Kedushin L'Didach? The older one promised him the Kedushin, keep the money. So in that case, there's no reason to prefer the Ketana. There is. Afiloch is still loy shavik inish mitzvah. The Rami, a person will not forego the opportunity to do a mitzvah which is incumbent upon him. A person has to seek to marry off his young daughters. It's his obligation. Rashi brings a pasuk, so he wouldn't forego that opportunity. Va'avad mitzvah the Rami and do a mitzvah for his older daughter, which isn't really his obligation. So his first priority is to address his younger daughter's needs, and that's the chiddush of the Mishnah. Tashmai comes another kasha on Rabbah. His fellow married Rachel, who's younger than Leah, who's the older one. And he has two groups of daughters, one belonging to Rachel, one born from Leah. And he gets up today and he says, look, I'm all confused. You know, way back, I know I was Mekadesh, my Biti Gdoila. And at the time I knew which one I was referring to, the older one. But now, you know, I'm not really sure. Is it the oldest one? Is it the oldest of the younger bunch? Is it the youngest of the older bunch who's older than the older of the youngest? I'm not sure which one it is. Sorry. I'm not sure. Was I Mekadesh the older one of the older bunch of the the first wife, or the oldest of the younger bunch of the second wife, or the youngest of the older bunch, who relative to the younger bunch is the oldest, who's older than the oldest of the younger bunch. So basically, this fellow's confused. Kulan Asurais, there's a suffix on all of them. Chutz, Miktana, except for the youngest of the young. She's certainly not part of the suffix. Divrei Amir. We're speaking about many sisters. Ultimately, it cannot lead to anything good right now. There's no marriage happening. Because he'll never know, is she my wife or is she the sister of my wife? And we say Kiddushin is Chal. That's a kasha on Rava. Ach, my skinon. Says the Gemara was speaking about a case where Kisha Hukru, initially, he knew exactly who was in, who was out. He knew who he was Makash. Then he forgot. Now we're left with a mix-up. And since at the point of the Kiddushin, her identity was known, it was Kiddushin HaMasur Nabiyah. So there's a Kiddushin. The economy, I'll prove, in fact, that this was the case. The Ktoni Eina Yedea, because this fellow claims not to know. Today, I don't know. Look, Ktoni Eina Yedea. It doesn't say it was inherently unknown. It was known at a certain point, but then he forgot. Shmami no. So there's no kash on Rav. So that's the case. It's simple cheese. What's the point of it? Even mentioning it. Oh, there's a chiddush as opposed to Rabbi Yesi, who says the whole thing's a non-starter. The Amar Loi Machis Inish Nafshe Lasfeka. A person would never trust himself to the point, that he would use terms that are ambiguous. When he says G'doila, he certainly meant the oldest of the oldest bunch, because otherwise there's ambiguity, he might forget. A person would not take the chance that he'll forget. So if he uses this lashon, he meant to be crystal clear, and of course he meant only the oldest one. That would be the thinking. That's Rabbi Yesi's shita. Kamash one comes Rabbi Meir and says, no, a person sometimes is a little overconfident, trusts himself, I'll never forget, and he'll use a lashon G'doila even though he meant somebody other than the oldest of the old. and then he forgot. Demachitz inish nafshel sveki. Yeah, a person would use a lashon that can get him into trouble. That's what happened here. Tashma, here comes another kasha on Rav. Misha kiddush achas, mishtei achayis. Reuben approaches Rachel and Leah, two sisters, as Mekadesh, one of you two. He's not sure, he doesn't remember which one it was. No, he's saying get lazu, but get lazu, he has to issue a get to either one. To both of them, right? To Rachel and to Leah. Now this is your classic Kiddushin She'ein Mesur and Labia. It's a kasha on Rav. We're speaking once again, Kishahukru, Uba Safeness Arvu. Initially it was clear, he knew exactly which one it was, and then he got mixed up, and that's the problem. The economy, again we have the same diuk, the Ktani Eni Yedea. Eni Yedea, I don't know today, but I once did know. Like Ktani Eni Yedea doesn't say it's inherently unknown. Apparently there was a point in time where it was known. If so, then it's a simple halacha, why even discuss it? Seifa Strichele, the point is for the next part of the Mishnah, where we have a Chiddush. The Mishnah continues. So Reuven was Mekadesh, either Rachel or Leah, we're not sure. Mace, Reuven passed away, no children. So now we run into a Yibum or Chalitza scenario. V'lo yach echad. Reuven leaves behind a surviving brother, Shimon. We have a Yivama here, right? Because this fellow's real wife, wherever she is now bound for Yibum or Chalitza to address her, obligation, right? She has to perpetuate her husband's memory, right? There's a din of Yibum Chalitza, and the shaila is who's the wife and who's not the wife. So he has to do Chalitza to both. Chaylas l'shtein. He has Chalitza to Rachel and to Leah. So he addresses all the possibilities. Suppose Reuben left behind two brothers, Shimon and Levi. So now they don't both have to do Chalitza. One of them could do Yibam. But it has to be in the following order. Echad Chalitza. First, Shimon does Chalitza to, let's say, Rachel. So she's really the real wife, the real Yivama. We're done. And now Levi can marry Leah, no problem. Because he didn't do Chalitza to Rachel. She's not the sister of his Chalutza, which is Asa Midrabanan. He didn't do it, so he can marry Leah. So first, Shimon has to address Rachel, do Chalitza to Rachel. Now, Levi can marry Leah. And actually, it's a good thing, because if it so happens that Leah is the real Yivama and Rachel wasn't, so now Levi is really performing a proper mitzvah siva. But you have to be careful to do it specifically in this order. You can't start with Yivam and have your brother do Chalitza. But you know why? Because let's picture in the reverse. Shimon decides to do Yivam on Rachel. But maybe Rachel is not really the Yivama. Leah is. So Rachel is really the sister of your Yivama. It's called Achois, the sister of Zukukasa, the issue who's bound to you. It's a Rabban. It looks like the sister of your wife. So you shouldn't be doing that. So that's why it's first Chalitza to one Isha, and then the brother can do Yivam to the other sister. Im Kadmu v'kansu, but let's say they jumped into it and they both married. In Matzines miyadam, we don't force them to leave. Rashi explains because this concern of Achais Zakuk is only in the Rabbanan. So, but the Yevad, we leave it alone. And the point is, Dafka Michletz vad Yivum. Ideally, you first do Chalitza and then the brother does Yivam, as we explained, to circumvent any concerns of Yisurim. Avla Yivumi vada Michletz lebi. You can't start with Yivam, have the brother do Chalitza. The kapaka b'chayzekukas, there's always a chance that you might be encountering the sister of your real Yivama, your Zakuka, and that's a problem. Tashma. You have another case. Shnayim shekit shtei achayis. This time we have two men getting involved. Reuben and Shimon. They're not brothers, okay, strangers. They were Mekadesh, two sisters, Rachel and Leah, and nobody has a clue which one it was. He has no idea who he was Mekadesh. And likewise the other fellow. Okay, simple solution. They issue two divorces. Reuben gives two divorces, one to Rachel, one to Leah. And likewise Shimon. Bottom line, we consider it a legal kiddushin, which necessitates a get. Why? Why is there a kiddushin? This kiddushin can lead to nothing good. Maybe she's my wife, maybe her sister's my wife. So either way, they're usher. That's a kasha on Rava who says that the Kiddushin over here is a non-starter. Hachanami here as well, we can say Shehukru was Hefnis Arvu. Initially it was known and then it got mixed up. So that's why the Kiddushin was Chal. The Ekanami, we have a diak, the Tane Ein Yedea, it says Ein Yedea, he doesn't know today, like Tane Ein Yedea, rather than saying it was never known. Shmamina, that proves our point. So then why discuss this halacha? It's a pretty simple case. Once again, Sefer Strichli, the point is the next part of the Mishnah, which runs you into the Yivam Chalitza situation. So like this. We have Reuven, who was Mekadosh, one of these sisters, and Shimon, another fellow. They both died without children. Mesu, there's a gersa. Mesu, they both passed away. Lezeach. Okay, so Reuven has a surviving brother. Let's call him Levi. And Shimon has a surviving brother, Yehuda. So how do they address these two women? Right? So each one of these survivors will do chalitza to both women to address their possible obligations. Okay, now it gets a bit more interesting. Suppose Reuven left behind one brother. We call him Levi, right? And Shimon leaves behind two brothers, Yehuda and Yisachar. So how do they deal with this situation? We can actually get a Yivam in, because we have more to work with. So firstly, the single brother, let's call him the single brother, the Levi, he has to do chalitza to both Rach and Leah. He can't marry anybody because she might be the wrong one, she might be the sister of the one I meant to marry. That's a chayisa kukase. So the only solution there is two chalitzas. But when it comes to the other family, we call them Yehuda and Yisachar, they, amongst them, there could be at least one Yivam. So let's say Yehuda does chalitza to one of these sisters, just in case she's really the Yivama. So we got it. And even if she's not the Yivama, the other one is the Yivama, so okay, I did chalitza to the sister my Yivama, that's okay. But he can't marry at this point, because maybe I'm going to marry the sister my Yivama, which is a problem. So he has to do chalitza. And his brother Yisachar can do Yivam on the second one. And actually, he might be in luck. She might be the real Yivama. Im kadma v'kan. So let's say Yehuda and Yisachar jumped into it and they married. Both of them married. It's not ideal. It's far from ideal. But you can't force them to leave, because, as we explained before, even if there was an Isra of Achais Zakukah, but now it's over. Once there was Chalitza done, once there was Yivam done to the right one, wherever she is, they both married. So certainly one of them got it right. So the Zika, the being bound to the Yavam, is over. Right? So the other one can hold on to his wife. Bottom line is, it's only Chatchila, but B'diavad, they can hold on to their wives. That's halacha in the Mishnah. And there's a chiddush here. You have to follow this order. Dafka michlatz. It only works if the single brother, we call them Levi, initially did chalitza to both women. V'hadar yivumi. And then the other ones go and do, their sequence. One does the chalitza, one does the yivam. That's the right way to do it. Avul yivumi v'hadar michlatz loy. But you can't start the other way. You can't have the two brothers, the two sons, do their thing first. One does chalitza, one does yivam, and then v'hadar michlatz, and have the single guy do chalitza to both. V'hadar michlatz loy. You know why? Because now you're running into a very serious problem. A chance that you might have done an Isra, Da'iraisa. The Kapaga B'Yivam L'Shuk. You see, let's visualize it. Let's imagine Yehuda and Yisachar, the two sons, did their thing first. So Yehuda did Chalitza to one Isha, and Yisachar did Yivam. Now, maybe this Isha who got the Yivam wasn't really the Yivama of their family. It was the Yivama of the other brother of the other family. Two different families here. So, by marrying her, he basically took away the opportunity from this Isha to do her mitzvah. It's called the Yivama L'Shuk, Yivama marrying out to somebody other than her intended Yavam. So here you have to be careful. The single fellow has to do chalitza to both. So he addresses his family's connection. So once we're done with that, he's out of the picture. Now the other two brothers in the other family will tend to the two women, as we explained, one will do chalitza followed by Yivam. So initially we thought this whole thing was a kasha Rava. It turns out there was no confusion at the outset. Initially everybody knew what was happening. I was Makadasher, the other guy was Makadasher. They knew, but then there was confusion, there was mix-up, they lost their identity, there was a taroivus, and that's how we ran into this whole confusion. But since initially it was verifiable, it was known, so technically the Kiddushin is chal, because it's a proper Kiddushin that can lead to phase 2, which is the marriage. Tashmai comes a kasha, a final kasha on Rav. The Tani Tevumi presents a bryce. Reuven has 5 sons. Shimon has 5 daughters. Amar. Reuven approaches Shimon. Achas b'bnei sayich mekudeshes la'achad nibanai. Okay, how's this? One of your daughters to one of my sons. He didn't explain. He didn't name her by name. So now each one of the 5 daughters can theoretically be married to one of the 5 sons. How do you get out of this? Every one of them needs 5 divorces. 1 from each son. What if meis echad mehem? So we have 5 sons, 5 daughters. What if one of the 5 sons passed away? Every one of the 5 women needs a get from the 4 surviving sons. Right? 4. And amongst these 5 women, you have 1 widow. We have no idea who's who, but maybe, right? I mean, it's not sure, but maybe one of them was really married to the fellow who passed away, so she's a Yavama. So one of the 4 surviving brothers have to give chalitza to every one of these women. Okay? Bottom line, Kiddushin is applied even though it's one big unknown. It's Kiddushin she'ein misur and labia. It's a kasha Rava. Perhaps you'll say a chanami here as well. Like we said before, Kishahokru, initially it was known. We knew which one it was. And then confusion reigned. No, look at the words of the Brisa. He never named her by name. He said, one of yours to one of mine. Bottom line, Tiyufta to Rava. Tiyufta, this is a final kasha on Rava. Apparently, even a Kiddushin which cannot theoretically lead to phase 2 to marriage is considered a valid Kiddushin and has to be addressed properly. And in fact, although typically we paskin like Rava, we're in dispute with Abaye except for the next 6 cases, be Al Kagam, this is a Rashi Tevas, Yud Ayin Lamed, and Kuf. The Kuf represents our Gemara, says Rashi, Kiddushin, Shalonim Sru Levia. We've just proven that Abaye is right, and the Kiddushin does take effect. Okay, let's briefly summarize our sugya. Today's daf started with the formula presented by Rabbi. Kol she'ena b'zeh achar zeh, right? When things cannot be done in a 1-2 sequence. Likewise, b'vas achas name'ena, you can't do them at once, simultaneously, because they're inherently contradictory. We had a couple of kashas, maser behema, toida. We answered all the kashas. And then we moved on to Kiddushin She'en Mesur and Labia, which is Machlekes Abaye v'Rav. We passed on like Abaye. So bottom line, when the Mishnah says you cannot be Mekadish an Isha Obita as one or Isha V'Achaisa, why? Turns out we have 3 explanations. Either Rami Bar Chama's pasuk, or Rabba's klal of Vasachas Nami Einai, and we really have another pshat. According to Rav, it's Kiddushin She'en Mesur and Labia, and therefore none of them are Mekudesh. All the best to you and Hatzlach Rabba and B'sureis Toves.